COVID-19 pandemic has forced us to reassess what we are doing with our physical health and our mental health. Many of us have started to do things for ourselves, for our health, things that we would not before the pandemic. In that sense, the COVID-19 pandemic has been an eye-opener. And to help you get back to the basics, we put together Health 360 for our viewers. Welcome to India Today's brand new health show. I'm Sneha Mordani. Today our conversation is going to be about food. What's going wrong with our food habits? Why exactly are we eating out of packets? And why is the food that we eat from packets called junk? Why is this type of food pushing India towards another epidemic? This is an epidemic of lifestyle diseases. Well, have you ever thought about the food value of what you eat from a packet? When you pick that bag of chips to go with the bland ghar ka khana, or before you polish off a nutrition bar, what is the nutrition that it is really offering you? The chocolate that you eat to kill hunger pangs between lunch and dinner, and that packaged meal, a ready-to-eat kadhi chawal that you have just microwaved. None of the foods, if you can even for a moment call it food, have any nutritional value. Far from it, these foods, ultra-processed, laden with preservatives, sugar, salt and fats, not the good kind, could lead to a host of diseases. They only fill your stomach up, but do nothing for your health. First, let us identify these processed foods. Breakfast cereals, cheese, tinned vegetables, bread, savory snacks such as crisp sausage rolls, pies and pasties, meat products such as bacon, sausage, ham, salami and pate. Microwaved meals or ready-to-eat meals, cakes and biscuits and soft drinks. Anything that has not been cooked at home has a long shelf life, is actually laden with preservatives that prolong the life of the food and cut short yours. That is the ideal definition of a processed food. You put out a pack of biscuits, it will survive for months together, it won't go bad. How does that really happen? Now it has ingredients that will ensure its shelf life. Those very ingredients are bad for you. In fact, a quick breakfast for many would involve one or more of these processed foods that I just told you about. But nutritionally, they add zero value. Instead, a homemade ghee-laden paratha is actually much healthier. Ghee is good for you. Though ghee is rich in fat, it contains high concentrations of monosaturated omega-3s. These healthful fatty acids support a healthy heart and cardiovascular system. Now, studies show that using ghee as a part of a balanced diet can reduce unhealthy cholesterol levels. Now, why is the paratha good? It is freshly prepared, it will go bad in a few hours in the heat and has the good fat. It has no preservatives and no harmful packaging. So, a paratha over packaged muesli is a better choice. In fact, a freshly prepared samosa, not the frozen one, is actually better than a bag of chips. So not like I'm promoting an oily snack to you. Just drawing a comparison on what you should choose from if you are actually having a choice between these two things. Ingredients such as salt and sugar and fat added to processed foods to make their flavor more appealing and to extend their shelf life, or in some cases to contribute to the food structure such as salt in bread or sugar in cakes. Artificial flavors are added, food color, texturing agents. These foods, unlike your ghar ka khana, will be much tastier, even addictive, and meet your cravings, but damage your health in the longer run. Ultra-processed foods are also cheap and easily accessible. For example, a pack of chips or biscuits, even in rural India, has now become a substitute for a wholesome meal cooked at home. In fact, the level of awareness in rural India about the dangers of processed food is so low, it's frightening. Processed foods are linked to increase in cardiovascular disease, obesity in kids, lack of agility. Increased sodium levels means increased blood pressure. Regular consumption of processed foods is an open invitation to ill health. Imagine what a pack of biscuits can do to you, to your child. Have you even thought about how much is the excess salt and sugar intake when your 5-year-old polishes off a bag of chips? Or what is the nutritional value of the fizzy drink that your child has finished off? In this day and age, cooking 3 fresh meals a day is a tall order for many. But conscious eating and limiting your junk food intake, processed food intake will translate to a healthier, longer life. Getting your nutrients as much as you can from anything that does not come in a packet. Because most things in a packet are what they are called, junk. Well, our next report is going to give you an insight as to why India has become the diabetes capital of the world. And things are only worsening for us as far as this dreaded lifestyle disease is concerned.
I tried everything, it didn't go away.
No one is destined to be diabetic, but Sohit was.
Everyone I have met.
Living in a joint family of 15 folks, Sohit saw diabetes all around him. Parents, aunts and uncles, one can say his fate was sealed.
So all 3 families, most people are diabetic.
Yeah,
Sohit, who is in his early 30s, found out that he is a type 2 diabetic when India was under a lockdown due to COVID-19.
I knew what a fatty liver looked like. I suspected I'm diabetic on 6th May 2020. I felt some tingling sensation in my leg. So, because I have also faced blood pressure issues, so I checked my blood pressure, it was normal. Next logical thing was check your sugar. I borrowed my mother's sugar machine, I checked my sugar, and it was about 340. So I told the doctor that, you know, I'm not really fond of that many sweets, so why am I having these issues? So she asked me, what is your routine and all those things. I would tell, I would have like 3-4 glasses of Tang, Coke, things like that. So she told me, you're virtually living on sugar.
India has been struggling with its diabetic population. Projections say in 2019, 77 million individuals had diabetes in India. This number is expected to rise to 134 million by 2045. The worry is the youth is contributing to the bulk of this burden, as 57% of them remain undiagnosed. Doctors explain why.
Over the years, over the decades actually, there is a change in eating patterns and lifestyle patterns. And the exponential growth that has happened in diabetes is accompanied by a lowering of age at onset. So more and more younger people, as you very rightly say, are affected by this type of type 2 diabetes.
COVID has also been a major trigger for the rapid rise in diabetics across the globe.
COVID did many things. There was worsening of diabetes during COVID that everyone knows. There were a lot of people who were pre-diabetic or borderline diabetic who became floridly diabetic during COVID. But there also seems to be some increase in actual risk of new diabetes, which is still being studied.
It is not only an urban phenomenon. Rural India is also moving towards increasing numbers of diabetics today.
India has another problem, that when mothers are undernourished and their babies are small, even those babies have a greater risk of developing diabetes, and I'll explain that. When such babies, when they're exposed to same kind of food, the energy dense food that everyone's having these days, they also suddenly tend to put on weight around their tummies, and they also tend to become metabolically, quickly diabetic later in life.
Today, Sohit's story is the one to inspire. He has now fully reversed type 2 diabetes.
I think today only I was told that my diabetes has been reversed. My H1BAC is 5.4.
Of course, heredity is one such factor. But a bad lifestyle, overconsumption of fast food, sugary foods and smoking is making Indians diabetic.
there should be a larger focus on child health and women, especially maternal nutrition during pregnancy, that could act as a preventive measure against the spread and increase of diabetic incidences in the country. With Pradeep Gupta, Milan Sharma for India Today.
Have you ever thought about what goes into manufacturing food that is found in packets? What exactly are the ingredients? Have you tried reading labels from processed foods? First of all, do these labels found in processed foods in India inform you or mislead you? Our next report tells you more. The biggest burden of lifestyle diseases in the world, maximum number of patients suffering from diabetes, childhood obesity on the rise. India is battling a silent pandemic. This is a pandemic of increasing burden of non-communicable lifestyle illnesses. And one of the major reasons is because there is lack of awareness about what we are eating. For example, what is the nutritional value of this pack of biscuits that I've just picked up? There is nutrition information which I can't even read. In fact, there's lack of information about this so-called food in a packet. The government of India intends to bring about star ratings. Now, on the face of it, it appears that this is rightly intentioned. But experts say that star ratings are actually counterproductive and that there should be warning signs that should come right here instead of star ratings. What do junk foods deserve? Star ratings or warning signs? That is the question being asked by public health experts in India.
It does not help people to identify unhealthy nutrients. For example, a diabetic may like to know how much sugar in a product is there, but it doesn't tell. Second, the use of healthy nutrients, like for example, if you put nuts in the chocolate, gives more stars. So it is misleading in nature and manipulative. Industry likes it because it gives more stars. They can use it for health claims, and that is useful for marketing their product. Thirdly, which is general, creating a halo or health halo around all the food products. Once you adopt this policy, all the food products which are industrially produced will be labeled as healthy in varying degrees from 1 star to 5 stars.
Instead, introduce warning signs, say experts. Experts from Cambridge University have shown that cigarette-style packaging would also put people off junk food. The idea is to focus on the relationship between the product and its health effects, and that they believe could be the key to targeting unhealthy food consumption. So your chocolate bar with a health warning, the Coke with a cigarette-like warning could work. While these may be drastic, simpler warning signs instead of star labeling is the way forward.
If we give clear-cut health warnings about high levels of salt, sugar and unhealthy fats, we are educating the consumer to make an informed choice rather than being misguided by a supposedly healthy product.
Experts are in favor of nutrient-specific warning signs, which is known to be effective to reduce consumption of junk foods. That is the only way to send the right message to a population that has low levels of nutritional literacy. Outside of India, Canada is imposing warning label signs on high on salt and sugar foods. Mexico has already imposed black stop labels on these foods. Chile was the first country to have front of the food label warning. It remains to be seen if the food regulator's star ratings get cleared or whether the food authority eventually goes in for stricter warnings like the danger sign for processed food items. In New Delhi, Sneha Mordani for India Today. Here are food items that you should refrain from eating or be extremely wary of because they have a direct link with lifestyle ailments. Let's talk about red meats first. Extremely harmful. Saturated fats, they also boost the bad kind of cholesterol, and that's the reason why you should not be consuming them. Foods rich in sugar. Sugar leads to inflammation. Salt, also sodium. These boost your blood pressure, which means they increase your blood pressure levels. That's the reason why you should not be consuming them. Soda again, which is extremely rich in sugars. It has added sugars, and that's the reason why you should refrain from consuming sodas. Processed meats, they're very high in salt to preserve these meats, and that's the reason why you should not be consuming them. White rice, bread and pasta. Now these items will just fill you up, but it's zero nutritional value. It has zero food value. So you're just consuming them and filling yourself up and doing nothing else when it comes to your health. So refrain from consuming white pasta and white bread and also white rice. Canned soup, canned vegetables, whole lot of preservatives, extremely harmful. These preservatives will improve the shelf life of these canned food items but reduce loss. They're extremely harmful. You should not be consuming them. You would have heard about the concept of food miles. The lesser time your food takes to travel from the farm to your plate, the better. The lesser food miles, the better it is. Hence the concept of locally sourced foods, locally procured foods and locally grown foods. Here's why nutritionists believe these foods are the best for you.
It is fresher. It has not traveled thousands of kilometers to reach your plate or waited in a cold storage facility to be made available around the year. Secondly, it retains more nutrients. Thirdly, local foods are more flavorful. Why? Because they are not harvested early to be shipped for distribution thousands of miles away. They are in fact picked at the peak of ripeness and they store maximum flavor.
This food is not just healthy, nutritious, but it's right there, fresh in front of you, because the farm to fork time is really less. When the food is pocket friendly with least carbon emissions, less pollutants, fresh, healthy, nutritious, I think we should make the right choice of eating local, which is also healthy.
Our next report explains why and how, in a bid to lose weight, we end up losing essential nutrients by blindly following fad diets. Here's more.
Kim has confessed that she developed psoriatic arthritis after following a strict diet. She lost 16 pounds in 3 weeks, while the recommended healthy target is 1 to 2 pounds a week. Psoriatic arthritis typically causes the affected joints to swell up, making it stiff and painful. Clearly, Kim's choices have come under severe fire, but she has defended her move, claiming she had a nutritionist supervising her diet. Fad diets have always been an unfortunate part of the health and fitness industry. Every now and then, a new diet emerges promising unreal results. While some may achieve temporary results, many end up with health conditions they never had.
There are diet and fitness fads that people follow blindly these days. They think that these are an easy way to good health, but quick fixes can be disastrous. A fad diet has two things in it. One, it is way too restrictive, and second, they may give you quick results but may affect overall health. They are only a temporary fix to a long-term eating and lifestyle problem one may have.
In a recent major study, unhealthy diets are said to be responsible for over 11 million deaths per year globally, more than smoking or consuming tobacco. Eating very little fruits and vegetables and consuming too much sodium through salt or processed food is accounted for half of all deaths. Heart attacks and strokes are the main diet-related causes of death, followed by type 2 diabetes and cancer.
If for an extended period of time we go very low on protein or avoid proteins, it can have a major health impact, leading to weakness, fatigue, muscle loss, sarcopenias, or even a weakened immunity. Going completely off salt for a long period of time is also not healthy, because that can lead to certain issues like severe weakness, convulsions, and even coma in certain cases.
Though most of these fad diets do nothing except waste time, effort and money, gullible people fall prey to its promise of instant results. Often these diets aren't well researched or the research is faulty. In a bid to find a temporary solution, you might end up with a lifelong problem. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, that report brings us to the end of this edition of Health 360. Hope you enjoyed watching the show as much as we did putting together these reports for you. Until next time, eat well, stay safe, and do take very good care of yourselves.